Hello, this is Michael with Tiny Frog Technologies. I'd like to talk a little bit about, and I've actually done a blog post on this point earlier, but I want to talk a little bit more about how to work with a content writer for your website. As I mentioned in the previous post, we feel it's really important to bring a content writer in to a website project, even if you're a good writer, to at least work with you closely in terms of helping to communicate your messaging in an effective way on a website. So a website is a different beast than almost anything else than a white paper or an article or whatever. So writing web content is a very specific skill set. So when writing content for a website, when working with a web content writer, regardless of what you're going to do, we always recommend that you write your first draft for the content writer. You know your business better than anyone, and it's really important that you're writing, communicating to the best of your ability what you do well, why you do it well, how you differentiate yourself from your competition, describing your services and or products, and describing who you are as an organization and how good you are at what you do. It's really important to get that information down, and then your content writer taking that and working with that initial content to make it more web savvy and communicating and translating it for the web. It's important that the content writer spends time with you, and typical our content writers have very specific questions we go through. We have a questionnaire that we have our clients fill out that really helps us to learn as much about the company as possible, but also the personality of the brand, the tone of the brand. What are your core values as a company? Who are your clients and what's important to them? All of those things play a role in the messaging which ends up being created for the website. And another thing that's important about content writing, at least we find to be important, is we have a number of exercises that we go through that we refer to as web strategy that we utilize before we even start the writing. That way it gives our content writer, who's also our web strategist, the opportunity to learn as much about the company as possible through could be a customer journey map, or through what we call visitor profiling, or through learning about your core competencies and the demographics of your visitors and the psychographics of your visitors. All of those things are very important in terms of laying the groundwork for writing really good content on a website. And a website is really comprised of imagery and content. Both are very important, web content. So both are very, very important in terms of creating an effective website. So we feel like all those things I mentioned, all those that step-by-step process plays a really important role in ultimately having really good content on your website. So if you have more questions about content writing for your website or website development or design in general, feel free to contact us.